Did you survive the April 7th bear market? Did you sell any tokens? Well, if you did, you need to be asking yourself some really serious questions. Are you holding the right tokens? Will the tokens that you're holding survive a bear market? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then you need to be asking yourself why. Because yesterday was just a test. The market is testing you again. The market is keeping you in check, asking you whether you're holding bags because you want to make 100x returns or holding bags that will make you 100x returns and survive a bear market. And of course, we want the latter. So today we're going to look at where we are in the market cycle, and we're going to talk about how we are finding those 100x gems that will do well in a bull market, but also survive a bear market. I'm Crypto Man Ran, and yeah, I'm still on vacation, but I come to you every single day at 10 a.m. EST, and I bring you crypto love and crypto wisdom, and actually I bring you the biggest crypto guests in the world. I mean, today, we're joined by Elio Trades. Now, I don't know how many of you know Elio or watch his channel, but let me tell you, it's a big treat to be joined by Elio Waves. I am just waiting for him, actually, to Elio Trades. I am just waiting for the guy to wake up. So let's hope Elio wakes up soon and joins the stream. But when he does, we're going to be talking to you guys about how Elio and I look for the 100x gems. And specifically the 100x gems that we know would survive a bear market. Because like I said to you guys yesterday, the winner is the person that walks away with the biggest Bitcoin bags after the bear market, after the bull market. In the bull market, everyone that I know is making money. I mean, it was a red day yesterday, and if we look at what it looks like today, guys, this market's too easy. It's 1 day down, 6 days up. The real challenge, though, the real warning that the market is giving us is the market's asking us, are you holding the right bags? How did you choose the bags? Are you sure that these bags will give you maximum fundamentals, but actually also survive the bear market? And that's a massive reality. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And hopefully Elio will join the stream, and then we'll take that from there. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, and smash that bell button. Let us break this algorithm. Not only because you like the content, not only because I'm here bringing you content, even though I'm on vacation. I mean, guys, if I showed you guys yesterday where I am, I'm on vacation, and I'm here bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom. So smash that like. And then, of course, there is another huge reason for you to smash that like and smash that subscribe and smash that bell. And that's, of course, because we are running the biggest crypto giveaway in the world. In fact, I think it might even be the biggest giveaway in the world at the moment. It's called the Banter Bags giveaway. And if you don't know about the Banter Bags giveaway, where the hell have you been? It started off like this. I put $10,000 into a Ethereum account. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest it in pre-market allocations, because a lot of the community were complaining that they weren't getting the pre-market allocations. What happened next was crazy. We started getting these pre-market allocations, and these pre-market allocations started to 100x. And so the value of the Banter bag started to grow really quickly. In fact, we've had about 3 of our Banter bags actually come to the market. And if you look at the value of the Banter bags today, the Banter bags are worth around $500,000 or maybe even more. And yesterday we secured some more Banter bags for you guys. So we secured a bag of Refinable for you guys. That was sometime last week. I don't know if you guys remember that I said to you guys, I secured a bag of Refinable for you guys. Now, this is a big bag, and I'll tell you why. This is the first NFT, full service NFT play on the BSC chain. And it's got some really prominent investors. It's got investors like Mr. Beast. It's got investors like Binance themselves. And why am I so excited about this? Because if you look at what's happening in the NFT ecosystem, NFTs are not made for the rich. NFTs are made so that all of us, even kids, can start changing or trading in these digital collectibles. And right now, with the gas costs on Ethereum, well, that sounds a little bit crazy. I mean, minting an NFT, I don't know if you guys have done it, but that can cost you up to $200. Trading an NFT, once you've got it, putting it in the right wallet to where you want it to be, again, keeps costing you money. So I think that a BSC chain, because BSC's got such network effects and BSC's got so many users, I think that an NFT project on BSC is long overdue. And when you look at Refinable, and they've got big plans. I mean, let me show you a little bit of their plans. So they want to be a full service NFT ecosystem on the BSC chain, which is huge. You can see that they were invested in by Mr. Beast and by Binance, and they've got a whole lot of very, very, very astute investors behind them. So this one is going to be amazing. And I think specifically around, if you look at the NFT numbers. So we have this NFT hype, and I think we've just entered this NFT hype. But what's blocking this hype, or what's stopping mainstream adoption here, is the Ethereum gas fees. If you look at the user numbers, if you look at the user numbers that are on NFTs, you can see the user numbers are going down, which means there was a great hype. Everybody got excited, but then everyone realized, hold on a second, we're paying huge gas fees, and we need a better solution. So I think one of the reasons is this huge gas fees. So that is the reason why I think that this Refinable may actually have a running chance at being a very big ecosystem. And then, of course, they've got Binance's backing. I mean, they've got direct investment from Binance. They're going to be live on the BSC chain. You can imagine that if they do have investment by Binance, that they are going to get a Binance listing at some time. So very, very, very excited about what's in those banter bags. In fact, Fred, call up the table of the banter bags. Let's see if we can have a look at what's sitting in the bags at the moment. Okay, so we have Unmarshall. We have a bag of Unmarshall valued at $55,000. We have ShopX, which is valued at $85,000. We have EOS, which is valued at $273,000. So currently the banter bags valued at $414,000. But look at what's still coming up. We've got Deeper Network. We've got $1,000 allocation. We've got Collateral. We've got $1,000 allocation for you guys. We've got Refinable. We've got $1,000 allocation for you guys. So quite a lot still to come. In fact, let's have another one. We've got Rocket Vault, which was another one that I secured for you guys yesterday. So, I mean, if you just look at this and you say, okay, 3 have come onto the market, the $10,000 is at $414,000. Where is this thing going to next? Well, we know that this thing is going to go to the moon. And I think that this is going to be one of the biggest giveaways, if not the biggest giveaway in crypto history. I think it could be up to $3 or $4 million. What do you need to do? How do you enter? Well, easy. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button. If you share the video, you get 2 entries. Follow me on Twitter. Join our Telegram group. All of these things give you entries into the Banter Bags competition. Every time you make one of these actions, that gives you an entry into the Banter Bags competition. And I think you'd be crazy not to do this. Cool, let's get on with the business of the day. And that is yesterday versus today. So yesterday it was a sea of red. Let's look at what it looks like today. That is what it looks like today. It's a sea of green. Ethereum is back over $2,000. DOT is back at $40 or just above $40. Cardano is back over 121. BSC is hitting like massive all-time highs. I mean, BSC is almost at $420. Even the other coins, let's look at Litecoin. I mean, look at Litecoin, $224. So it seems like everything is back to normal again. It seems like all the stress that we had yesterday is back to normal again. And I guess that's the big question that you should be asking yourself. Did you stress yesterday? If you stressed, did you sell any tokens yesterday? If you did, then it either means that you have too much money in crypto or that you're getting carried away into the swing of this bull market. And if that's the case, then you're going to land up losing a lot of money because you're making irrational decisions in this market. There's no doubt that this market is firmly in a bull market. There are many reasons why, but specifically, we know the US government is printing a lot of money. We know that the US markets are now healthy again because the Fed managed to calm the markets. And so the threat of a short-term US market collapse is now out the window. We know that. We know that the US can't let their stock market fall because if they do, then they've got a broken economy and they've got a broken stock market. Now, who can afford that? On top of that, if we look at Plan B, now, I know you guys know who Plan B is. And if you don't know who Plan B is, he is an anonymous account which created the stock-to-flow model, the famous Bitcoin stock-to-flow model. And he tweeted this yesterday. He said, in case you missed it, of course, Bitcoin is volatile and it can easily go down, up or down 20% in a short time interval. But we are nowhere near the top of this bull market, according to his stock-to-flow model. If we take a closer look at that chart, let's take a closer look at that chart. Freddie, call up that chart. That's where he says the market is going. Now, if you look at that market since 2010, look at what that market keeps doing. And you can see that we're actually just repeating the market right now. If this model is true, what will happen is Bitcoin will go straight through and probably before the end of 2021, in the beginning of 2022, be worth over $200,000 or $150,000. And that is according to the stock to flow model. So that's one reason why I think we're nowhere near the top of the bull market. The second reason why I think we're nowhere near the top of the bull market is by taking a look at technology markets and technology adoption cycles. And the best way to do that is to look at a NASDAQ chart. So Freddie, call up the NASDAQ chart for us. Okay. What you're looking at here is you're looking at the NASDAQ charts since the 1980s. And effectively, if you think about what this chart represents, it actually represents adoption of the internet and adoption of technology surrounding the internet. Now, like crypto, what you can see is that it was relatively flat. And then in the 1990s, there was a huge surge up. And you can see that the NASDAQ went to over close to 8,000 points. And then you had this huge crash. What happened before the crash was exactly what happened with crypto. People saw this new kind of technology and they said, hold on a second, there's this new kind of technology. It's going to change the world. That technology was, of course, the internet. And they said, if the internet's about to change the world, we're all in. And then they got this reality check. And in this reality check, the market came down. And you can see it looks exactly like the crypto market. Now, unlike the crypto market, which took 2 years to recover, the NASDAQ took way more years to recover. In fact, if you can see, the crash happened in the 1990s towards 1998, 99. And then the next time that the NASDAQ was at the same level that it was in 1999 was after 2015. It took 15 years for the market to recover. Now, of course, the market recovered. The crypto markets recovered much quicker. So the question is then, what can we expect? What are we looking for here? What I wanted to show you here was that what you can see, and you can see this in all the Wall Street cheat sheets and many others, is that there was one big correction. There was one big crash when people were a bit disillusioned by what this technology could bring and how quickly this technology could bring it. Very similar to what happened to us in the 2017 bubble. People saw the blockchain. They said, okay, hold on. Blockchain is going to change the entire world. And we had 6 legs of a bull market. And then what happened? After the 6 legs of the bull market, we had a massive correction. Bitcoin went from 20,000 back to $6,000. Okay, that was a massive correction. And again, what happened in people's minds? First, the technology was introduced. Then the few early adopters came in and said, hold on a second, we love this. And they started this hype, this mania about how this technology could change the world. And then what happened was the world realized that, hold on, it's going to be much harder to penetrate or change the world than we thought. And the market gets a reality check. And when that reality check happens, we get the correction. We saw that in crypto in the 2017 correction, but we saw that in the NASDAQ in the 1998, 1999 correction. Let's have a look at that slide again. Freddie, call up that slide again. Let's have a look at it. So that was the big correction. What is important for you guys to see here is that after the big correction, after the reality check, yes, of course, there were a whole lot of small bumps along the way, going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. But there was never, ever another big correction. Because what really happened was the technology, which was the internet, actually did start to change the world then. And that's exactly what happened. So I think that the crypto chart, when we look back at the crypto chart in 5 years or 10 years, and we look at what happened, we'll have one big spike, which was a 2017 spike. The 2017 spike. And then the market started to correct. And when the market started to, we had the 2017 spike, then the market corrected. And now what's happening is that blockchain adoption actually is happening. And so we can expect the blockchain market to continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. When you look at this chart, you also see, well, one massive correction in 2008. And you're looking at that and you're going, but hold on, you said there was never another correction. So what is it? That is an external circumstance. That is the housing bubble of 2008 when everything collapsed. I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys were around, but there was a housing bubble in the United States, a subprime bubble as they call it. And that collapsed the entire US stock market, in fact, world markets. That's quite important. Because remember, I said to you guys before, that there is actually one thing that could crash the crypto markets. And if that one thing happens, then all markets in the world, all asset markets in the world, all risk-on markets in the world are going to collapse. And then everyone is going to migrate to Bitcoin. But that is the only thing that can happen. So I think that we're going to follow the NASDAQ chart. I think we're going to go all the way up like we did. We went down when people were disillusioned about what benefits this blockchain ecosystem could provide. And then what happens? We start to slowly get adoption. And we start to make the chart, we start to make the beginning of the chart look like it's a little glitch along the way. As everybody always says, and I love this, when in doubt, just zoom out and look at what yesterday's little glitch was in the big scheme of things. In fact, let me take you there. Let's look at yesterday. Let me open up a window over here and let's look at yesterday. We are waiting for Elio to join the stream. Let's see if the man is awake. Okay, he's awake. He says he's going to be on in the next 5 minutes. Let me tell him, Elio, hurry up. We'll be on any second now. He is awake. Alrighty, let me show you guys what I want to show you in the big scheme of things. So, let us look at that. Great. Let me show you guys this chart. Okay, so that is the chart, the Bitcoin chart, as you guys can see. Let me just get this chart smaller for us. Okay, that is the 1 day chart. Actually, let me make this the 4-hour chart so that you guys can see it. Okay. Look at yesterday in the big scheme of things. This is yesterday in the big scheme of things. That little correction over there is yesterday in the big scheme of things. And yesterday, if you watched crypto Twitter, it seemed like crypto was coming to an end. You've got to ask yourself a question. If you felt yesterday like you were stressed, it could be one of two things. Either you were holding the wrong tokens and you're not confident in your tokens, in which case you're buying tokens for the wrong reasons. You're buying tokens on fundamentals. Or you've got too much money in crypto. Either one of those is a bad thing. Let's talk about the second one first. Why is having too much money in crypto such a bad thing? Because when you have too much money in crypto, you tend to make bad decisions. Because you're stressed, because your level of stress is high, because you can't really afford to lose the money, you make the wrong decisions and you play into the whale's hands. What do I mean? Well, yesterday was a buying opportunity for the whales. If you sold any tokens yesterday, if you sold any Bitcoin yesterday, or in fact, any tokens yesterday, you fell into the trap that the whales created for you. You did that. Why? Because you either weren't confident in the tokens that you were holding, or you had too much money and you couldn't afford to lose that money. Either way, it's not a good situation. So yesterday, like I said to you, was a warning to you from the market. It was a little like, hey, guys, are you holding the right tokens? What happens if the correction comes? And remember I said to you the other day, I said it to you, I think it was yesterday, where I said to you, the winner is the person that invests as if the market top is near. No, I don't think that the market top is near. But I do think that if you keep thinking or investing like you believe the market top is near, then you will make the right decisions. If you keep thinking that this market is going to crash in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then you won't invest too much money in tokens that aren't listed, that are highly speculative, right? You won't invest in tokens that are too speculative and illiquid that you can't get out of. And that's the trick here. Take a very small part of your portfolio, take 5% of your portfolio and put it into those things. And the rest, make sure that you guys are in the network effect gems. Because if not, then what happened to you yesterday is going to keep happening to you. We are going to go through a crazy cycle now. the top of the parabola, the top of the bull market, as you can see in this chart, the higher you go up in the parabola, the bigger the green candles become, the bigger the red candles become. This ride is going to be much worse than any other one because there's so much more money in the market. And because there's so much more money in the market, the green candles are going to be insane. The market's going to go up like you can't even imagine. If you think that we've had a wild ride up until now, you won't believe the next two phases of the bull market. But the red candles are going to be way, way, way worse. In my mind, yesterday wasn't even a red candle. In fact, yesterday when I saw the market going down, I did a show for you guys and I went for a walk. I literally, I'm going to try not to unplug my microphone here, but I literally went, I literally went for a walk, guys. That's literally what I did yesterday because I wanted to be away from the trading screen. So what I wanted to speak to you guys about today was how we make sure that we have What I want to talk to you guys about today was how to make sure that you have the right tokens that will do 100x in the bull market, but that will survive the bear market. And for that, I'm joined with by my friend who's just woken up, as you can see. Elio, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's so good to see you, Ran.
Sorry to wake you up, my friend.
No, it's my pleasure. I always love being here with the Crypto Banter fam. I hope everyone's doing well.
So listen, in case you missed it, we're talking about if the market shook you yesterday. If you were around yesterday and the market shook you, and you sold any tokens yesterday, then either you were holding the wrong tokens or you've got too much money invested in crypto. And either way, that's not a good thing. And so what I wanted to focus on with you today, of course, I want to talk about Superfarm. I think it's important that we touch base on Superfarm. But much more than that, I want to talk about how to select tokens that will survive the bull market and make you 100x's, but also survive a bear market. Keen?
Yeah, of course. I think what people need to realize is that if you're selling in any emotional stage of the market, whether it's up or down, you're probably acting out of the wrong set of circumstances. You need to plan out your buys and sells, and you need to act unemotionally. And the more emotionally you act, I think I've proven, at least within my trading, every time I buy or sell emotionally, I end up losing money. And so if there's something where I feel extremely stressed or extremely excited, I'm buying when the market is absolutely exploding, or I'm selling when the market is dumping. Those are usually big errors, and I've never made a significant trade in that environment, whether it be 10x, 20x, definitely not 100x. So that's just my reminder to myself: is if there's an emotion attached and it's significant, that's the red flag.
So I must say, I actually think exactly the same way. And in fact, I trade against emotions. So if I feel that I'm tired or emotional or stressed and I'm panicking about something, then usually I buy instead of selling. And if you try that with a very small part of your portfolio, what you'll realize is how the market's manipulating your emotions. I think that's the big thing. I don't know if it's just me losing you or if it's everybody, but you seem to be coming and going. I'm not sure if it's my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi. Guys, let us know in the comments if you've got Elio clear and maybe it's just me. Let's have a look at the comments. All right, Elio, while we're waiting for the comments, so today there's over 10,000 coins on the market. And it's very interesting for the community to know, how do you go about looking for what to buy? How do you know whether something's a 10x or a 100x gem? What's the process that you follow to get the actual token?
Yeah, I guess, you need filters, right? You need to filter the market. You need to, and let me know if I am coming in loud and clear, of course, and I'll make adjustments on my side. But you need to filter the market. Part of it is experience, right? The more time you spend in crypto, the faster you can at least reach a personal conclusion on a coin. And with 10,000 projects and new ones coming out each and every day, it's impossible to spend, a deep dive amount of time on every project. And even projects that you do look at, you can be wrong on. And I think this is really, really important for people to understand. You are going to miss pumps. You're going to miss them. And that's okay. That's not your job. Your job, I tweeted this like a few weeks ago. Your job is absolutely not to catch every pump. Your job is just to understand the market as best as you can, to keep understanding the market, to develop yourself. And eventually you'll find a coin that is an absolute gem that's undervalued. You'll invest with conviction. You'll wait for it to pump and you'll get the gains. But if you don't develop yourself, you'll mistime it. You won't wait long enough. You'll spread yourself too thin. You'll chase things that have already pumped. You'll do it wrong. But the more that you just work on yourself in the process, the more that you will eventually find something that's sitting there at a right valuation that has room and has legs.
Okay, so let's assume that you're here today. You've got $10,000. 5,000 of those dollars is invested into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and one or two other, big gems. So Cardano, Chainlink, Polkadot, whatever you believe the big gems are. Of another $3,000 is invested into what we call the network effect gems. So protocols like Arweave, like Luna, which have network effects already and are getting real life adoption. How do you go about investing the other $2,000? How do you go about, what's your process for investing the other $2,000? Do you go sector first? Do you look at themes? Do you look at cycles in the market? Walk us through that process.
Yeah, there's definitely cycles and themes, and the best times are when a new cycle really emerges, and there's something brand new in the market. I remember, obviously, DeFi summer was a great example. Then you had echoes of that with the Oracle seasons, with the insurance coins. Obviously, NFTs have been extremely generous. And then, right now it feels like there's really a push going to happen for the decentralized web, which I talked about on an episode or two ago. And we had communicated privately about some decentralized storage coins. And I think that there's going to be, this is a really big market, right? This is a really big market to serve. And whenever you have markets that are extremely big and the narrative for these coins can reach the hundreds of billions and stuff like that, that's really critical for crypto, because if you have a market that can only serve, $10 billion in annual revenue, the coins just, the narrative isn't there too much. But when you have markets that are hundreds of billions or more, and like with the DWeb and the decentralized storage coins, there's just such big numbers there that they're tackling that it becomes quite juicy. And so I think it's important about sort of understanding the parallels in the real markets that they're serving. Like DeFi, obviously finance is as big as you want it to be. You can find comparisons in the financial markets that go as big as you need for your narrative. And that's why people are, I believe Chainlink still has huge growth, right? And I believe that, all of these DeFi coins have huge growth ahead. And so you start with sectors, you hopefully get ahead of a trend, and then you want to find an absolutely rock star team, and you want to understand, if they understand the crypto game as well, because there are crypto fundamentals that are different necessarily than traditional fundamentals. And the people who are able to play to the crypto community and play achieving crypto-friendly milestones are going to do really, really well. You saw Origin, which was, a DeFi project really focused then on NFTs, and then really just they've been constantly hitting their milestones, and they've been having great growth as well. So yeah, that's my filter is, you look at it kind of like a traditional startup, but then you want to you add your crypto fundamentals and you want to get ahead.
So, okay, let's go back to it. So you said you had DeFi season, then DeFi season became NFT season. And then kind of like a week ago, you saw the NFT coins fall out of fashion for a week. And now it seems to be Web3 season and everyone's moving into the Web3 coins. How do you trade in and out of those cycles? Or do you just find, do you have your DeFi gems where you're holding your DeFi tokens and then you never see them again, you file them away, never see them again? Then, of course, you got Eternity and you got Superfarm and you file those away and that's your NFT plays. And then you move on to the Web3 plays. How do you manage it? Or are you trading in and out and trying to catch the narrative?
Me personally, what I'll do, because it's too hard to manage, at least I have a really busy day, right? And so for me, I just simplify my life by having simple profit-taking zones on each coin. And it usually has to do with multiples. If I reach certain multiples, I'll lock in either buys or sells if it's on a traditional exchange. or sometimes I'll do like a 1 inch or lock in something like that. But you'll say, hey, at this level, I'm going to sell this much, and when it does reach that, you sell. And I don't typically say, okay, I'm only going to enter into a new position over here if I exit a position over here. Usually I try to, the market's been super generous. So I've been, I tell everyone all the time to take profits. And I think taking profits is a huge, huge habit that everyone needs to like robustly develop themselves in, because if you do not take profits, you will not have wealth at the end of the bull run. If the bull run does ever end, which, at this point, I think it's a safe assumption to say that it more than likely will. It can't continue forever. It very well might, but I think that, taking profits is like an art form. It's a martial art. And so you need to get in the habit of taking some off the top, even if you love the project. And then when you do that, you end up with a pool of stables or ETH or BTC, whatever, and you can redeploy that. And so that's kind of how I've been operating. The market's been so generous over the last sort of 8 to 10 months that I haven't had to like get rid of a position to enter into a new position. And I usually enter into smaller altcoins, and that's how I've had success.
Yeah, Masa, I keep saying to the community, don't marry an altcoin. You can get married to Bitcoin, but don't marry an altcoin. I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it to you. I love Superfarm. I think Superfarm, for me, is the best, most exciting NFT play. But at certain points along the way, I will sell some of my tokens, because that's the only way that I'm going to have enough ammo to buy more tokens along the way. If you don't take profits, if you're not disciplined about taking profits, then you will be like I was in 2017, when I went from 0 to close to 100 million, and then all the way back down to 0 because I didn't take profits. I got married to my tokens. You said something very interesting. You said this bull market is going to end. And when I heard you talking on some of the other stations, you said, we're entering this altcoin super cycle. The altcoin super cycle isn't going to end anytime soon. This bull market's going to be here for a long time. How long do you think this bull market is going to be here?
Well, I think that's really the dark magic here is time analysis. Is you can't really do it. You can't really do time analysis. You just have to go on feel. You have to read the signals, I think, from Bitcoin itself. It's no secret that when the health of Bitcoin reaches a certain level, the altcoins can enter into extreme bull territory like we've seen. When Bitcoin, though, shows that it's capitulating and that it does not have the steam to go on, or it's not holding near or around its highs, that's going to be my sort of signal. And I've said it a couple of times before. It may not happen this way, but I do believe that it's going to be a situation where Bitcoin will go on another parabolic leg or 2 or 3, maybe 4, I don't know, but probably not too many more double ups from here. I think another, if it doubles up from here, we're in the 6 figures, doubles up again, we're now in the 250K range. So I think 1 or 2 double ups and we're starting to get there as to like, okay, if it does it again, now we're at $500,000. Now we're really talking some numbers that people have compared with the full market cap of gold, right? And so these are where things start to get to the point where I could see Bitcoin making a huge move downwards, 50% or more. If it does that, it doesn't recover, and things start to, I guess, run out of gas a little bit in Bitcoin land, then we see the altcoins just go on a monster pump. I'm talking about 10x's out of top 10s, like the types of stuff that the market cap movements that we saw in early 2018, those like first few days of 2018. When you see that, you see Ethereum reach a $20,000 to $30,000 price. I think those are the signs that I'm going to be looking for to say, okay, this could keep going, but most likely this is our 2018 moment. And it's not to say that there won't be amazing opportunities. Throughout 2018, there were some huge project launches, some huge opportunities that came around. However, it's also worth noting that most projects started a very, very long and painful bleed in 2018. So that's whether that happens in late 2021, whether that happens in early 2022. I don't know whether that happens in 2026. I'm just saying that's my signal is Bitcoin's collapse, and then the altcoins just, especially the super big cap altcoins, doing parabolic growth. Like when you saw Tron go from like a fraction of a penny to 30 cents, and it was already a big cap, right? And so that's the kind of stuff that I think would trigger me to see a potential end in the bull run.
Yeah, Master, I think that correlates exactly with what I was saying before. We're going to get into the next couple of phases, and in the next couple of phases, the green candles are going to be big. We're going to get lots of red candles along the way, but that's going to, for me, characterize whether or not we're reaching the top. Because where we get big green candles and the big red candles, that for me is where the market says to me, okay, we're being irrational now, and that usually brings a correction. Do you agree that most of the tokens that we see today aren't going to be around in 5 years? When we look at the market today, there's, I don't even know, I think 10,000 tokens. Do you agree that probably 1,000 will be around, 500 will be around? What's your feeling?
So I agree with what you're saying in principle, that a lot of the projects today that we're currently looking at will fail. I also disagree with the number assessment, because I believe there will be millions of tokens. And I think that it's, I see tokens quite a bit like I see websites, in that there will be some tokens, much like websites, that end up being extremely big, the most popular and trafficked ones in the world, and ones that exist and no one uses and no one goes to. And I think there will be everything in between. And so tokenization is just getting started. It's very early for tokenization. So we're seeing creator coins. We're seeing, very specific types of coins for very specific use cases. I think that stuff's going to continue to grow, just like eventually everyone had a blog and everyone had 10 social media pages, and everyone had their own personal brand website. I think tokens will be very similar to that, in that there will be a ton of small, insignificant coins, a few extremely big and significant ones that stand the test of time. But I think that the numbers are going to grow exponentially. I think we're going to see thousands of times as many tokens as exist today in the future. And if any of these tokens are able to stick around for that, they're going to be very, very big.
Amazing. Guys, so first of all, sorry, I see the sun's coming here. I'm away on vacation and the sun's setting beautifully here and it's on my face. So apologies about that. Anyway, let's look at sectors. Let's look at the sectors that you like, and then let's dig into some projects on those sectors and actually get some juice into this whole thing. So I think we've got your narrative, your big thinking, but now let's kind of like dig in. And specifically, I think let's start with DeFi. So DeFi today, I mean, it's hot. It's hot. The market's hot, but the market's not as hot as it was when the DeFi mania started. Best DeFi tokens, tell me why.
Yeah, DeFi is going to be hot again, I believe. I mean, I've been of the narrative that DeFi Mania 2.0 is going to hit. And the reason is that DeFi is a huge change for crypto, and the opportunities that it presents to soak up liquidity from the mainstream ecosystem, from the mainstream finance is tremendous. So I think that you're going to still see a lot of stuff. Specifically, the things that I think are still really undervalued and are going to have a huge path are under collateralized lending and fixed rate lending. Those are the two things that are really killer apps of DeFi that have yet to be fully fleshed out. And so there's a project coming soon that is doing under collateralized lending based on social credit. And that project looks very interesting, called Sublime. I'm not going to share too much on it because it's still early days for them. But there's also a project called Unit, or Duck Protocol. And that one is very interesting because they target one of the highest fixed rates of yield in the entire market. And some of the big brains I know in the DeFi space have said to me that their smart contracts are extremely, extremely tight, like admirably and artfully tight. And I think that when you see the projects that are able, like Terra and their Anchor protocol, to deliver reliable, high rates of fixed in APY, that's going to be a much more exciting offering than a variable APY, which for most people is an unacceptable result. Most people can't say, wait, what APY am I going to get? Well, it changes every minute. They're going to say, no, I don't want to put my money in that. But if you say, and you can reliably deliver someone 20, 50% APY, well, that's going to soak up billions or maybe even more of total value locked. You need to put your money there. It's disrespectful to your money to not put it in those protocols.
Oh, yeah, if you got your money sitting at Chase Bank and you're getting 0% or 0.1%, and you can now put your money into things like Anchor Protocol, and you can get 20%, 20.5 or 20.7%. That's a huge number. I mean, it should bring in, like you say, billions and billions and billions of dollars. What do you think of Saffron Finance? Do you know the project Saffron Finance, SFI, also fixed lending, fixed borrowing?
I've heard of Saffron. I haven't dug into it in any recent amount of time. Why don't you give me the juice?
Yeah, so this is actually quite a weird one. It's an anonymous project which some of the biggest VCs have invested in. So for me, when Multicoin Capital is a great fund. In fact, I think they're probably the best crypto fund out there, the best performing crypto fund out there. They don't publish their stats, so very difficult to see. But Kyle Samani tweeted about this project and he said, we've never made a investment into an anonymous project, and this is the first. And the reason why they did it is because of how smart the contracts were, and that they were giving fixed rate lending and fixed rate borrowing. So I must say, I haven't done more research than that. I thought maybe you had. So, okay, what do you think of Anchor Protocol? What do you think of the guys at Terra Labs and Luna and Anchor Protocol giving 20.7% or 20.5% fixed returns on US dollar investments? Bullish?
I mean, it's going to be hard to compete with that, right? That's an incredibly high achievement. Now, the question is, can they hold it? Right? If they can hold that peg, or at least target that peg of 20 something, around 20, especially if it airs on the higher end, then I think that they're going to be a financial force that can reshape finance itself, right? Duck Protocol is not going to have the same forward-facing legitimacy and effect, even if they're doing 50%, right? And people will see that as a higher risk, higher reward scenario. But Terra, with their payments ecosystem, with the Anchor Protocol, they have a sort of web of protocols interacting that has created a very unique and apparently very safe experience with this lending. And I was talking with a couple of folks outside of crypto. I do interface with a lot of sort of mainstream creators, artists, brands, IP these days, especially on the NFT side. And they don't know anything about DeFi. They've never heard of DeFi. So that's where I think DeFi is still super, super early, is that people have no idea what is coming and what their money is entitled to. And so that's where I still think DeFi is still so sleeping and so nascent, is that the actual amount of people with wealth that have been willing to press the button and deploy into these smart contracts is just a drop of water in the ocean. And that's where I think there's just a lot. Maybe it's a slower process than I think it will be. Those big money bags are slow to move, but there's definitely an insane amount of multiples that are due for DeFi.
Very, very interesting take, and I must say I agree with you on every single one of those. Interesting question, because you are a builder and you're building an amazing project, and we are going to touch on it. But as I mentioned, I don't want to spend too much time on Super Farm. I don't want this to be a Super Farm show. I want this to be Elio, and I want to get into Elio's brain because I think there's so much wisdom in there. But I'm going to ask you this as a builder. Today, if you're looking to build a project, if it's an NFT project, if it's any kind of dApp, you're kind of faced with a dilemma. And the dilemma is whether you should build an Ethereum and stomach the high gas costs and all the barriers that brings in. You can go onto Ethereum layer 2, and there's multiple layer 2 solutions. But effectively, going onto Ethereum layer 2 is one step away from Ethereum and one step closer to being on a completely different chain. You can build it on Binance, on BSC, and then you've got the benefit of a whole lot of users, but what they call a slightly more centralized chain, for whatever that means. Or you can go onto any other blockchain. Now, you've had some experience. You've just built Superfarm, or you are building Superfarm, and you've gone through all of this. In hindsight, what do you think the best solution for someone who's about to build? And the reason why I ask that is because I want to see what what the near-term future of Ethereum is. In other words, are people just going to carry on building? Will they jump to ETH Layer 2? Or will they jump ship and say, you know what, I'm going to go into Cardano. I'm going to go into BSC. I'm going to wait until August when Cardano does smart contracts.
Yeah, so I guess as a builder, what the real evolution here has been, and the reason why BSC took flight at all, I guess not at all, but the reason why BSC really took flight is because they're essentially allow you to deploy your Ethereum smart contract with very few changes onto a new blockchain with almost no issues with consensus. And so what you're really doing is you're deploying Ethereum dApps in low fee environments, but you're not rebuilding your dApps for, BSC as much as you are deploying them on BSC. It's very, very straightforward, the process to deploy on these other chains. And that's why Polygon has had so much traction. They were the first to really make it so easy to deploy your Ethereum EVM compatible smart contract over there. BSC took up the reins there. And now you're seeing it with Huobi EcoChain. Obviously, Phantom, big shout out to Phantom. I'm expecting to see some huge movement over there. And really the interesting thing about these chains is I think that they're scaling the process for the Ethereum developer. So as a builder, I see it as Ethereum dApps that are now being deployed on a more scalable chain. You're not really having a full trade-off on the choice of where you build. Now, Substrate and Polkadot is really the first environment that we're seeing a robust builders environment on that is not a direct one-to-one comparison to the EVM chains. And obviously there will be things like Moonbeam, which allow you to deploy very easily on Polkadot. And then of course we have Cardano. I know I would be remiss if I don't mention Cardano. However, the thing about Cardano is we're still waiting to see what that all looks like. Same with Polkadot. And we'll have to see how this goes. But I think that the real killer app here of when we're looking at Binance Smart Chain, when we're looking at these other projects that have had a lot of traction in the developer realm, I think it comes largely from making it plug and play, because the reality is that everyone still wants to deploy on Ethereum. Everybody. And
so then that brings me to the question: if you had $10,000 to invest in smart contract blockchains, and how would you spend that money today? Would you put 5,000 into Ethereum, 2,000 into Binance? So let's look at that part of your portfolio, and specifically you're looking at the smart contract blockchains. How do you break up a $10,000 investment today?
So on a theoretical basis, I see Ethereum much like people see Bitcoin, but for smart contracts, right? So when we're talking about smart contract functionality, layer ones, Ethereum is the Bitcoin of this world, right? It is the, in my opinion, the most trusted asset, and the trust is what gets people, right? That's what makes people want to put very high valued transactions and processes on it. And that's why you still see governments and big companies and everyone's still looking really at Ethereum. Now, there has been a move towards Polygon for some significant stuff, as well as Binance Smart Chain. And so I think you can't underestimate the power of other competing layer ones, but you also need to understand that the minute Ethereum deploys some real scaling, that's going to be a big moment. And everyone's going to want to be on Ethereum again. And that these other chains are phenomenal only when Ethereum is unscalable and unusable. Whereas as soon as Ethereum becomes more usable, which I do believe is a matter of when, that's just, to me, so at least half that bag in Ethereum. Is that going to get me the max pumpage in the short term? Probably not. But if I'm looking long term, I do think Ethereum is that asset that can continue to grow and develop and blossom for as long, ongoing, right? Just like Bitcoin, it can have that growth. So I'd say half an Ethereum, you're looking at, you want a BSC bag. You definitely want some Polygon in the bag. You want a healthy amount of DOT and Kusama in that bag. You're looking at splitting up the 5K around, I'm personally a little bit more, interested. I have a lot of Polygon. I have a decent amount of BSC, but I'm really into Polkadot as well. I just think that there's a narrative there and an excitement about the technology that hits on some other chords with the interoperability that they're focused on, the new technology. Gavin Woods, how integral he was at building Ethereum and Solidity. I think he's the right man for the job. However, it's going to be an exciting thing. I do not have a huge amount of Cardano, and I might regret it. But the reality is that I have, less than 10% of that $1,000 would be in Cardano. But the reality is that I'm looking forward to seeing what Hoskinson does. You can never underestimate old Charles, and we'll see. I'd be delighted if any of these chains took a complete market share. It would be a phenomenal addition to the crypto space. I think that seeing one versus the other is the complete most ridiculous mindset in the world, and that if we have better blockchain infrastructure, then each and every person here is going to be much more wealthy. So that's all I care about is seeing everybody win.
Okay, great. So then let's use the same philosophy into the Web3 narrative. If I said to you, Elio, you've got $10,000 to invest of your portfolio into the Web3 narrative, where does that money go? And then tell me why. Tell me why you put the money into where you put the money. I'm less interested about the money and more interested about the sentiment.
Yeah, there's definitely some notion that Filecoin here is a behemoth of that space, and you want some money in Filecoin. It's also extremely large already, but you have the creator of Interplanetary File System as the head of Filecoin, one of the most used decentralized protocols in the history. And so he's got the background, and he's achieved something that very few people have, and almost everybody uses IPFS. And so that's one you need in the bag. I've covered this coin many times, but Akash is something I think is going to be an integral and phenomenal addition to the decentralized web space, the unstoppable cloud. We're looking at, Arweave is a very interesting project that you brought up to me again 2 days ago in private chats. A very, very, very high quality project. And I think that you're seeing several different players here, some in the Polkadot space, which I think will be very interesting. And it's one of those where those three are probably my biggest plays, whereas there's going to be a bunch of small plays, just like with these other ecosystems, where as this narrative heats up, even in the short term, if you're just looking for short term, they're going to have some serious growth.
Wow, awesome, interesting. All right, let's move on to NFTs, because I've been saving that one for last, because I do want to hear about Superfarm. But let's look at the NFT landscape and let's exclude Superfarm. So we've had this explosion. I think first of all, I want to ask you about the Flow blockchain. So Flow is the blockchain that was created by Dapper Labs. It's, I think, made for NFTs. I think is that the right word? Can you say it was made or designed with NFTs in mind? Would you, as a project, build your NFT project today on Flow?
So it's definitely one of those things where what they've achieved is fantastic, and huge credit to Roham and the team for what they've achieved. And the jury's still out on whether or not Flow is the number one choice for blockchains. We made the choice at Superfarm to be a cross-chain protocol, and we are certainly in talks with and considering integrating the protocol into Flow. And we definitely would love to work with any blockchain that would help advance the narrative for NFTs. We've had a lot of conversations with private individuals. We've had a lot of conversation with private brands and folks that are trying to size up their entry into the space. And some of them are extremely excited by the NBA Top Shot experience. And some of them want to be in the more open Ethereum based experience. And so it's just a question of, to us, is not about, just like I'm not committed to layer ones as you've heard from the way that I view the market, we're not committed to layer ones, or the super farm development team is not committed to layer ones in that same way. We are looking to help grow and expand the functionality and the use cases for NFTs. And if Flow becomes the best toolkit, then that's the one we're going to use. And I think that it's just very, very exciting what they've done with NBA Top Shot. But I don't think NBA Top Shot success in and of itself is proof one way or the other that Flow is the killer app or the killer chain for NFTs. They certainly have proven that they have built the most killer collectible ecosystem in NBA Top Shot. However, I don't think that is in and of itself a reason to abandon Ethereum or anything like that just yet. But it's very impressive.
Okay. $10,000 to invest in NFTs. Not allowed to invest in Superfarm. Where do you put your money?
So, there's definitely some interesting moves into NFT fractionalization happening. NFT core technologies are really interesting to me because they are still so nascent, and I believe that they're going to come along a long way. There is, you definitely want to be putting some of your money into the flows. There's also, Immutable X, which is an NFT layer 2 on Ethereum. Very interesting project. I am an investor in that. It hasn't come to market yet. You're seeing some NFT insurance stuff pop up. I think in the short term, you're going to see that stuff pump really, really well. I invested into a smaller project called D-Art. That's very interesting. I do think the bigger insurance companies, insurance projects will start covering NFTs if it becomes hot, right? And so I think that there will be lots of competition there if there is big demand. And then I also think that, when it comes to just newer NFT technologies, like there's a project called Genesis Shards, which is looking to take NFTs and use them to hold different non-trading value. So like people who invest in pre-sales before they come to market, they would actually have NFTs, so they become tradable early on, as well as they're looking into other use cases for that. I think that's an interesting project. And then there's...
I'm laughing because Garlam, who's one of the founders of Genesis Shards, was on the show yesterday, and we introduced that project to the community yesterday. So laughing because of that.
Yeah, no, it's a smart project. It's an interesting project, right? I definitely, when I first heard about it, I was like, great, this is for sure. Let's definitely take a shot at this one, because I could see that being very popular, wanting to have some tradability in some of your early stakes. And the use cases for that, you can see spiraling on to other things that are less fungible. And so, I think that when you look at the NFT ecosystem and you see the pain points, which there are many and varied, you see a lot of opportunities to solve those with more targeted infrastructure. And then, of course, within the super farm world, there's a big desire to solve as many pain points as we can on a more macro sort of broad spectrum. But also focusing on the people who are doing specific, solving specific pain points well, and supporting them, partnering with them, and collaborating with them, investing in them. And I've been doing a lot of NFT investing, and I think that the mania phase is passing, allows for the real work to be done. So that's very, very. I think it's a perfect moment to be looking at NFTs now that things have simmered a bit.
I agree. I think this may be a good entry point, actually. I saw Eternity Chain coming down so much. In fact, even Superfarm had a massive dip over the last couple of days. All right, in the last few minutes, let's talk about Superfarm. I wanted to save the best for last. Also didn't want Superfarm to shadow the whole conversation. I didn't want this to be a Superfarm shill, but it would be amiss of me not to ask you about what's going on at Superfarm. Give us an update. What can we expect? What's coming up? What's happened? Tell us a little bit about life as a founder.
Thanks for that, Ran. It's been an amazing journey. The transition has been, having such a huge project is an absolutely, it's a huge blessing. It's a huge responsibility for the team, and everybody is working pretty incredible amounts of human effort going into this. And so what you just saw last week was the first sort of test drops that we did, testing the technology. And we had our Genesis series, the Genesis series NFTs came out. Those were extremely well received to the point where the drops that we were doing were getting sold out within what felt like a blink, where you would refresh the page and they'd be gone. The first day, this was a little bit of a more healthy distribution. And then the second day, some bots started to target it. So we switched to a whitelist lottery, which the community really enjoyed. And then, after we finish the drops, we're going to test the farms. And then we start releasing partner drops, partner farms, and we start also adding in some special features and collaborative features that I've personally been looking forward to for a while. And I want to make those announcements with more dedicated information, because if I leak it right now, the conversation in our chat rooms are just going to be pandemonium. So I just don't want to I want to give full and complete detailed information on any kind of new features. But it's an exciting time. I'm super happy to be doing the work that we're doing. And I do believe that NFTs as a mainstream use case and application, we're just starting to scratch the surface, and that NFTs with utility are going to be the big next wave here. So giving NFTs utility, focusing on tools and toolkits for NFT creators and issuers that make their life easier, that allow them to deliver the highest quality of content. Those are the sort of pain points we're trying to solve. And of course, looking at the experience that is buying and selling NFTs, we think there's a lot of upgrades and improvements that can be done, and we're excited to develop and ship those.
One last topic, and then I promise I am going to let you go. And that topic is, of course, launch pads. A lot of the people are asking here, paid launch pads. How bullish are you on launch pads? How bullish are you on launch pads being around for a long period of time? Would you be buying the launch pad tokens? And the reason why I ask that is Fred called up a very interesting chart. Freddie, here we go. I've got that chart for you. This is the entry ticket if you want to get into these launch pads. So if you want to get into Polkastarter, you need to have 3,000 polls. That's for a single lottery ticket. The current cost of that is $11,500. No guaranteed entry. If you go into Ignition, 1,000 paid gets you a single lottery ticket. That's $4,000. 75,000 paid gives you a guaranteed entry, but that's $288,000. DuckDAO, 2,000 DuckDAO gives you a lottery ticket. Current cost $3,800. Recommended tier, which is gold, requires 10,000 DAC tokens, which is $38,000. And the list goes on and on and on. How bullish are you about these launch pads?
And in a market like this, the pre-sales are, it's one thing if there's a couple 100Xs, but there's been 100X after 100X after 100X that comes out of these. And I think at a certain point, you need to understand that if you do secure just one ticket, it'll most likely pay for the cost of admission, as well as it'll allow you. I mean, those coins typically are bullish as well, right? And so they tend to have upside just based on the fact that there's a lot of demand for the coin. And then, in the case of paid ignition, if you have that diamond tier or whatever, and I know there's going to be some hate in the comments here because a lot of people can't afford that, but the numbers work out such that if you're getting guaranteed allocation in something like a split, something like an AIOZ, you're going to end up making your money back, right? And so it's an unfortunate reality that you do need to have some chips to play this game. And it does require some luck, apparently, at the lower tiers. There's no perfect system yet. However, if you do get in, I mean, I don't think there's a better investment. I don't think you've made a coin call or a pick, or I've made a coin call or a pick that's done 250x. Like AIOZ did, right? We've made some great picks, 50x, 100x, 150x. But 250x, that's a high burden. That's a high bar to hit. And so, but these launch pads are doing it, right? And so that's kind of one of those things where I'd say, and it's not 250x over 5 years, right? This is 250x in 5 minutes. And so it's a pretty unique situation. And one of those situations where I do believe the launch pad tokens will continue to thrive for the rest of the bull run. I do think that they'll even thrive for probably the 6 or 7 months after, because there's so much new liquidity in the market with Bitcoin sitting, even if Bitcoin goes down to 20K, right? The dregs and the bearishness of 20K Bitcoin, right? How much liquidity is that in the market? It's hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And that's easily enough to have a new project grow dramatically, right? And so if you're having projects that start at sub 5 million market cap, they have enough gas with that level of liquidity to go 100x. And so it's, I think the Launchpad scene will be healthy for probably until 6 to maybe 9 months after the Bitcoin collapse, right? If we're looking at ourselves as probably 3 to 6 to 9 months before Bitcoin's peak, I think it goes another 3 to 6 to 9. I think it goes another 6 to 9 months after. So I'd say you probably have another year or so of Launchpads being extremely healthy. And is it a fair game? Is it a game that everybody wins? Of course not. But is it a game that you can have big wins in? I think that's probably the easiest wins that most people will have.
Awesome. My brother, thank you so much. Love getting you on Crypto Banter. It's been such an honor. Sorry to wake you up, but I think it was well worth it.
My pleasure.
Thank you, my friend. Keep checking in with us. Love to see you again on Banter soon, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an awesome time. Big shout out to the Crypto Banter army here. And I'd love to see you guys back soon.
Great, guys. And we'll leave Elio's channel description at the bottom of the YouTube description so that you guys can go and watch his channel. And let me tell you, it is the best channel in crypto. Even I say that. I listen to Elio every single morning the minute that I wake up. That's where I get a lot of my wisdoms from. And you guys should too. All right, so guys, sorry we did run over time, but I think it was well worth it. I will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, is Friday. What do we do on Fridays? Well, we banter. Banter, baby. So that's tomorrow. We're going to banter. 10 a.m. EST. We've got a new mystery guest and possibly a second guest coming on to banter. So we'll publish details of that. Otherwise, yeah, if you are trading out there, it's green. Have fun, but be responsible and only buy things that are going to survive the bear market. I'm Crypto Man Ran, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to go spend some time with the family. If you are trading, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.